Well, hello there folks, and welcome back to the channel. And you're joining me in a very different location to the last few videos. So I'm away from camp for once, and I'm actually out on Loch Maree up on the west coast of Scotland, and I'm going to be doing a couple of days kayaking. I'm going to be doing an overnighter on the mainland over in the opposite shore, so really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun trip. Weather is meant to be coming in just now. There's meant to be a wee bit of thunder and lightning for the next wee bit, so I am going to try and head over and get the sort of tent set up as quick as possible. But what I'm going to do just now, I'm just going to show you this particular island itself on Loch Maree. Now, I've done a huge amount of camping trips and lots of adventures on Loch Maree in the past, but this particular island was the first place that I ever actually built an A-frame shelter, the first time I ever actually made a fire pit, and the first time I ever started a fire with a ferro rod. So I'm going to take you over to that actual location just now, just so you can actually see it. There's another couple of places I want to show you on the island as well, and basically there's another little island just slightly further around called Penny Island, and I'll explain about it when I head over there. But as I said, I'll take you over just now and I'll show you where I actually set up my first ever camp. That said, I came over here, must have been about 7 years ago, and actually just sort of went out kayaking for the day, found this particular place, and just really loved it. So sort of set up a wee camp. Never actually slept here overnight, but as I said, I'll take you over to where I actually set up the camp itself. And what I'd do is basically every time I come out onto Loch Maree, I'd always just come here, cook up some bacon, make myself some lunch. And it was always just such a special place. So I'll show you just now. So I just used the sort of rock face itself just as a little bit of shelter, and there's my first ever fire pit I made. And again, I had a sort of A-frame shelter sort of going down there. And again, even tarp configurations, etc. Just sort of give myself some sort of cover. So it feels great to be back here. Absolutely fantastic. So many happy memories. And as I said, basically what I was doing there, that was the first ever place I'd managed to get a fire going with a ferro rod. So there was me watching videos on it thinking it was going to be quite easy to do. Well, no, it wasn't. I reckon I must have done about 300 strikes before it eventually took. You know, but again, I mean, that's all part of it. It's all part of learning and sort of getting better at things. So absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Just going to turn it around just so you can see this in a bit more detail. But look at that for a location. Just stunning. Now, as I said, the weather is meant to be incredibly changeable today, with even sort of threats of thunder and lightning, so I'm hoping that doesn't sort of come it's sort of a wee bit further down the road or down the loch, so hopefully it's okay. So what we'll do just now, there's one other beach that I've actually done quite a few camping trips on. We'll pop round there, let you have a little look at it, because it is just absolutely gorgeous. I do have the drone with me, but it's really windy just now, so it might be a case of popping it up tomorrow. Right, back in the water. As I said, this is one of the other places that I've tended to stay, and it's basically been hammock trips, with a hammock just between the two trees there. But again, look at that. So I have to say, it's just such an amazing place. It really, really is just such an amazing place. I mean, I'm standing in the water at the moment, and the water is actually warm, just for the first few feet. So beautiful place, absolutely amazing. So as I said, I'm going to have a little wander just now, and then what I'm going to do is we'll go round to the next island, which is the Penny Island, and I'll sort of show you that. It's absolutely fantastic, really, really impressive. I've always put coins on it every time I've arrived, and I'll sort of explain that and show you the actual tree itself, and then it'll be a case of actually trying to find somewhere to set up camp for the night. So as I said, just going to have a wee wander just now. So there's been a few cracks of thunder going on just now. Just looks as if it's slightly further down the loch, sort of near Kinloch U. So I am going to head over just now and set up the tent, just so that if it does sort of kick off, I can actually shelter in there. Beautiful over that way, not so beautiful down that way. I'll show you around. Look at that. But maybe not that way. So as I said, I've got a location in mind, so we'll head round there just now and see if we can get the tent set up, get myself sort of settled in a little bit, and see if this is just maybe a rain shower, hopefully. Okay, so the original place that I was planning on setting up the tent, it's just too windy around there. So I've come around the opposite side of it just to try and get a bit drier, a bit less windy, I should say. But there's still a bit of a breeze, but that's the rain about to start now, so I'm just going to quickly put the tent up, get that side of things done. But as I said, my bag with the tent, unfortunately, has got absolutely soaked. So this will give it a good chance to sort of get a bit of an airing as well. Okay, usual story, time for a bit of tent magic. So there we go. So that's the night cat outdoor tent again, which I really am tending to prefer for this sort of type of trip. So I'll probably still stick to the likes of the Robin's tent for the mountaineering stuff and summit camping. But I am looking forward to giving this a try up there as well. But as I said, I'm just going to get inside set up and everything, get myself changed out of the kayaking clothes, and then start thinking about getting some food on. Well, to put it delicately, today's not quite gone to plan. So I came out, I've got my fishing rod, and it's the first time I've been fishing in a very long time, and the reel's broken. and then I mounted the GoPro to the kayak and the bracket snapped. And then I've had a problem with the GoPro, so all the actual initial footage that I took and also my son's holiday has all been wiped. I didn't have my glasses on. I've obviously pressed format by mistake or something, I don't know, but it's wiped all the footage. It came up saying memory card error. So the brownie points will be gone with the sun, but it's more just a case of, as I said, so I ended up like all the morning footage that I've actually taken is all gone. So it's not quite going to plan, but I've got a beautiful spot. It's going to be really, really nice. I'm going to have a nice chilled evening. Going to have a couple of beers this in a little bit as well and get dinner on. You know, so in the scheme of things, you know, it's not that bad. But I said at one point I was like, right, that's it, I'm turning back. Giving up. But then I wouldn't have had this view. Just unbelievable. So as I said, Penny Island is just behind the camera. So we'll go over there tomorrow and actually have a look and do a little bit of exploring on it. But I will say now, I'm really hoping that I don't see any lights on it, because as I said, there are quite a few graves on the actual island itself. So I'm always a wee bit nervous, but hopefully I won't see any graves tonight. Won't see any lights, I should say, tonight. But as I said, Penny Island is something that I've come to many, many times and put coins on, so I'll do the same again tomorrow when I'm there. But I said I'll show you it. And I said there's coins from all over the world on it, so it's really, really impressive. But I said it's going to take a little 5 minutes myself just now, and then we'll get some dinner on. So not a bad setup. So I'm going to have a belted of a view tonight. And there is the Penny Island, or I call it Penny Island anyway. So we'll go over there tomorrow and explore. But look at that. So basically, Kinloch down there, and then the Torridon Mountains. And Ben, absolutely stunning. But it has got really cold. And the other thing as well that I'm really, really surprised at, it's really windy. So it wasn't meant to be windy, it was meant to be sort of 5-mile-an-hour winds, but it has turned really, really windy. But what I will do is sort of dry the tent out. As I said, it got a bit wet in the kayak on the way over, and also dry some of the clothing out that got a bit wet as well. I'll turn the camera around just so you can see. So again, really rocky around the sort of coast there. But as I said, I had stayed at this particular spot before. So I was like, this is going to be absolutely perfect. Although I was planning on staying on the other side, but I said it was just so windy. So windy. So time for tea. And then it's going to be time for first beer. And I've just noticed my beer is actually floating out to the sea. So I nearly had a full-on emergency there. My beer started floating away. I'll be looking forward to that for so long. Thought I was going to have to go swimming for it. But it was beautiful. I'll tell you, if I could get a clear night tonight, and the thing that I've sort of found over the last wee while though is it's just very, very dark for like 2 hours during the night. So it might be a bit of a challenge, but I haven't seen a star show for an absolute age, but the moon's just come out just now. But I said, time to get tea on. Well, what can I say? Cheers. A well-earned beer. And a hot meal. So I've managed to tie the guy lines off to the clips on the kayak on one side, and I'm going to have to go and try and see if I can get some rocks for the other, because that's it, it's really windy. Sort of, it's more gusting more than anything else, like perfectly okay, and then all of a sudden really, really windy. So I'm going to try and see if I can actually put the guy lines out on the other side. But I'm just going to relax just now, just finish this off of my tea. Benny and Torrid in the background just look absolutely amazing. And Sleach there as well. In my happy place. So I just had a massive rain shower for like an hour and a half there, fairly torrential, but it's sort of stopped now and it's completely flat calm. Now, if anyone knows Scotland, that is your worst case scenario for the little blighters that are midges. So I'm looking out onto the water just now and all I can see is just a swarm of midges. So I'm going to hunker in here for a little bit and see what happens. I do have a twig stove, and the plan was to sort of get a little fire going later on, so we'll see what happens, fingers crossed. But as I said, I'm just going to hide in here from them for a little bit. And then I'll hook up with his. Well, the rain's just been non-stop all night, unfortunately, but still thoroughly enjoyable. Sort of lying here, sort of planning next trips and looking at old trips, etc. So it's always good fun. But as I said, I'm just going to call it a night just now. I'm not going to put the fire on because, as I said, it's just the midges are just unbelievable. Now, I do actually have a special pair of gloves that I take specifically for midges to be able to use things like drones and things like that, so that they can't get to my hands. But as I said, it's 10 o'clock now, so I'm just going to call it a night and get up early tomorrow morning, and we'll get back out in the kayak. So tomorrow's adventure will be, once we've sort of had breakfast, which is porridge, we'll go over to Penny Island, have a little look at that, and then just sort of see what the weather does and what the rest of the day takes. But really looking forward to it. It's going to be an absolute belter. So barring any incident, I'll see you all in the morning. Good night. Well, good morning. Well, that was a bit of an interesting night. It was basically just absolutely tipped with rain all night. It's the noise in the tent was fairly incessant. Winds were nice and calm and everything as well, but it was more just that, as I said, the rain. So didn't get much in the way of sleep, but still a really good night. You know, thoroughly enjoy any time in the tent. It's always great. Just been checking the weather forecast, so the wind is meant to be getting up a little bit later on, so I'm just going to get up just now, get everything packed down. I'm just going to have energy bars for breakfast, just so I can get back out in the water as quick as possible. So I said we'll head over, do the Penny Island, and then it'll just probably be a case of kayaking back over to the van. But another 5 minutes in the sleeping bag, I think. So as I said, a lot choppier than it was yesterday. Certainly around the sort of the side, the open bit, sort of between islands. So as I said, I'm really just going to pat down camp and then get out on the water itself. But what I think I'm going to do is actually just keep close to the islands until I get to the sort of opposite the main road, and then it'll just be a case of kayak straight over. But it could be a choppy one. But I say a really nice setup last night, and it was gorgeous because when I had the front door open, I could sort of see through the netting itself, and the water was just flat calm. Billions of midges, but it is Scotland, so you got to expect it. Okay, a little bit of water, and then we'll get cracking. Okay, so that's me all packed up, just about to get everything loaded into the kayak, but one last challenge for me. I'm going to go for the Skimmy Stone World Championship, in my head anyway. Maximum I think I've ever done is about 9 or something like that. So I've got best of 4, so let's see how we go. Two. No. That one was okay. Nah, failed. Right, let's get on the water. Here's me pretending it's not absolutely goddamn freezing. Try not to scream though, or fall in. So that's me arrived on Penny Island, and just arriving at the actual tree itself. So I'll show you it just now. It's well smart. So as you can see, there's coins all the way up it on both sides. Now that was the tree itself, and as I said, it's just basically a very, very, very old tree. So again, coins in the main roots. Well smart, really, really nice. Now up the top section there, that's sort of lots of graves and everything as well, back to the 1800s, as I was sort of saying last night about the story, as well as sort of some of the locals and landowners. So I'm not going to go up there and show you anything at all, but it is very, very nice, very peaceful. So really, really a spectacular island. It is absolutely fantastic. If you ever do get a chance to come over here and kayak around the area, definitely worth a little visit here. But remember to take coins. And I said, just put the coins in. The wind is really getting up. So what I'm going to do just now, I'm not going to video anything more until I get to the mainland. I'm just going to try and power over and try and see if I can get there as quick as I can just before it gets any stronger. So I'll catch up with you just over at the van. Well, that's me back on the mainland now. The kayak's on the roof of the van. I'm all sort of packed up and ready to go. Just had a wee spot of lunch and just having a coffee just now. The rain has been just absolutely torrential, but I don't know if you can see in the background how rough that is. But that was an epic journey back over, really, really choppy. I only got caught out by one wave, which was basically just caught me and a huge amount of water came into the kayak. So you've just got to be so careful, but it was a huge amount of fun. And just adds to the excitement to an extent as well. But that was an epic trip, absolutely fantastic. The weather yesterday was gorgeous, the scenery absolutely stunning. Midges weren't too bad, which again made a big difference to the trip itself. But as I said, I'm just going to finish off packing and then going to head home just now. So a massive thank you for watching if you've watched all the way through. Very, very much appreciated, and we'll see you in the next journey. Take care, bye bye.